Hey everyone, Foot's back with another account review. Thanks for joining me today. Today we'll be going over RareDamage's account. Their goals are to learn more about EX Urd's group and their team building options, the Heroic Wanderer, specifically Acer, and any improvements to PvP. So let's get into it. We'll start with the lucky heroes. First things first, Gold Kitora is always a benchmark. That's really great to have right here. Ailu and Lonnie will be really helpful for the heinous battles. They both have the Machina's field resistance. You've collected quite a few of the counters for the other EX groups, so you probably have some good options for all those. A Gold Kana is still strong. She can be on a GA team for sure. We got a screenshot of the Scions this time, and you've got the most important three being the Cortana, Mog, and Frigg, so I think you're good to go here. Special heroes, having the Blanca is really good. She's needed to push into the harder difficulties of the EX Ymir. So from purple to gold, she does get a lot. Her skill gauge goes up an additional 10%. Both damages also scale up 10% when you max her out too. And her Quinn hit worth of damage gets 300% stronger. All 5 hits get 60% more damage. So eventually you'll need to have her gold to push really far into the EX2 or EX3 anyway. This extra skill gauge and damage will be necessary. I'm keeping my eye on this Yuletide Ractinia too. The Yuletide Ractinia is a monster with all ally agitation dark light ring plus skill gauge. She's got lost field herself and gives all allies 30 up to grounded and light. She's a very strong unit. I foresee you using her for some of the dark contents that you're interested in. The Jubilant Raspy you have will probably come into play at some point. I was considering picking her up soon with Odd Souls. She's an all-ally booner, which become very relevant in some contents where it's important to keep your own buffs active until the end of a fight. Also a note about Penguina. I have her purple on my main as well, but I have her gold on my alt. I can't really tell if it's justifiable to recommend putting 500 to gold her out. I think I'm gonna hold off on my main too. I think I haven't really needed her. She was really strong on some of the Fire EXs when they first came out, but she's a strong stack up otherwise. Just a quick note about Penguina. Anyway, moving on. Alright, Vindicators. We've got Lif, Mani, Boar, Randvitter, Celestia, Graphene, and Thrym. Solid. Graphene, you're going to find some usage in Heroic Wanderer for the elves. Before we jump into the PvP portion, I will go over all of the ranking usage as of the last cycle for the Heroic Wanderers of Asgard, Grandhelm, and Alfheim. And for the sake of our RareDamage's account, I'll be trying to make a note of anything that will help with the Acer Heroic Wanderer specifically. For now, Acer Heroic Wanderer, Lif has usage in Speed, and Thrym has usage in Radgrid. There are other strong Vindicators here. You'll use Celestia for the Human Wanderer, you'll use Graphene for Elf Wanderer, and Mani is really good for EX Bestla. You will 100% use her there, she'll probably be your damage carry. Alright, moving on to Catalysts. You've got a great selection, and they're all at gold. I like that. Motsog has usage on Gunner in the Acer Wanderer. Your Seabreeze Sort is very strong. She's on your main arena right now. She'll definitely be helpful throughout Earth contents. The remaining Catalysts are a strong selection. They'll help you out in all kinds of contents, I'm sure, in different EX groups and Heroic Wanderer. The Moon Sort will 100% be needed, I'm sure and it looks like you got a gold 3 on the Collector Melvin, so nice job farming the Human Wanderer. Definitely push up Moon Sort when you get the chance to. Alright, moving on to Saviors, you have V2 Laufey, Moonlight Celine, DL Burry, Regular Laufey, and Regular Dis. Yeah, I think you're pretty safe to leave Regular Dis at a purple. That would be 500 boost pots for not very much, I think. You've definitely got some good V2 saviors here. That's awesome. DL Burry is rank 3 for Gunner. Oh, I forgot to mention that Great Sage Morphea is Gunner usage as well. Your Gunner team's starting to come together. Motsog, Great Sage, Dawn Lightsbury, you may have a start. Alright, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't need to be said, but your Moonlight Celine will be used everywhere else. I mean, you're gonna need her for EX Erd. You're going to need her for Heroic Wanderer. She's 100% usage for Regulus, and she's rank 3 on Esquire for the elf one. Dawn's Lightbury I mentioned for Gunner already. The Scorching Heat Laufey, actually the first 3, all 3 of these are usage on Regulus. Yeah, your Regulus core is built pretty well. Regular Bury is usage on Ipsum. Catalyst Veely is also usage on Ipsum. I think I forgot that one. Your Gunner team had a trio core already. Your Radgrid core is going to be Vindicator Mani here. She's rank 4. Your Minerval, he's rank 6. V2 Laufey, he's tied with Minerval. Great Sage is at 9th. And then Vindicator Thrym is at 11th. You actually have 5 ranked usage for Radgrid. Alright, those are some pretty good notes on the saviors. I'm sure there may be more that pop up, but let's move on. Finally, to the observers. Ruista Gisa has usage on Speed, so that's a good start. Ruista is also ranked for Newt I would imagine that the other 2 observers that you have will fill in pretty nice in some of the team building that you need to do. As far as Acer Therian and Elf Wanderers, they're not on rank currently, but that doesn't mean that they can't be later. Alright, sorry if it's too small. I wanted to get it all on one screen. I'll go through the usages now. You can pause if you need to, but this is the usage for the cleared Elf Wanderer from the last cycle. Here's the ranked usage for Therian. And finally, here's the Acer. Okay, so you had some pretty strong cores for Gunner and Rag Grid. You had the Modsog, Great Sage, and the Dawn's Lightbury for Gunner. That's a pretty strong core to work with. For Rad Grid, you had Thrym, Great Sage here again, V2 Laufey, Minerval, and Vindicator Mani. You've got some firepower on that team. Speed will probably be the most difficult for you since you only have Ristakisa and Lif. If Acer's your next target, then consider trying to get one of these 2 Vindicators between Odin and Skald. Speed will help you a lot. Again, she's the best counter to herself. If you see it's over 90% usage, it's for a good reason. You just need to build your Speed core. Pick up Speed, Odin, or Skald. Start there. Maybe get 2 out of the top 4 here. Maybe you can target them in the upcoming Vindicator and Catalyst banners. Okay, well that was a good chunk of the notes about Heroic Wanderer. So let's move on to the EX Erd group. It's great that it's up now. I can go through it and look through rankings. Depending how far you push Ymir, it could get tough for you. You're not supposed to bring elves because they get shadowbound for 10 turns, but you'll likely end up bringing Moonlight Selene. She can hopefully eat through most of those. This is the EX2 difficulty. It's the highest difficulty that has a ranking. So you'd be bringing your Lif guaranteed, your Blanca. Hopefully you're pushing up red frames. You have your Moonlight Selene, Celestia, and Alphana to bring. That's 5. One of them gets CC'd, but that's at least a decent start. I would say the other strongest pick would be the Vindicator Senna. Once I acquired her, I was able to push 2 more difficulties of this pretty easily, even without Blanca. I think a Vindicator Senna would be the only other strong supplement you could provide to the team. You wouldn't really be going for a collab Asuka or a collab Minerval or a collab Felt, so that's kind of why I'm saying that. We'll just go in order. Let's check out Mimir. These difficulty rankings get such different usages on the way up, but it drops off on regular Thrym here on EX1, but I'm sure you're going to be able to bring him. Regular Thrym's on S2 and S3, but it drops off for EX1. I would justify golding out Vindicator Thrym. I picked him up on my main recently from the free pick and golded him pretty quick. He's really good. He's a big chunk of the reason I pushed an extra difficulty of Mimir. But in your case, Lif is an option here. Plus you have V2 Laufey, Motsognir, Thrym. And if you wanted a better shot at it, then the Vindicator you're going to want to pick up is Fei Long. She's 100% on the higher difficulties. Of course, getting Lucio would be good too. Having the counter hero, you probably want that. But if you need help on Mimir, you need to try to pick up a Fei Long or grab Lucio. Besla. Doesn't even have ranked for EX1. Well, Besla might be pretty tough. You've got Ruiz-Tagista, and that's about it for the S3. You do have the Vindicator Mani. She'll definitely be used. I don't know why she falls off usage on the higher ones, probably because there's not enough data. But for 2 observers to be 100% on this high of a difficulty, that's a pretty severe limitation to have those premium heroes. Otherwise, you need to have that Vindicator Hell. Sigurd keeps going up all the way too. Yeah, honestly, I would put off Besla as long as possible. Having over 100% on Scorpio and Hell is just a lot. Yeah, I mean, if you can get a Vindicator Hell on your account, that's just a great thing anyway. Moving on to Ofnir. We have 6 heroes on EX1. Not that that does most of us any good. You've just got Lift so far. Yeah, S3 isn't looking any better either. This usage is so limited. This one's tough. I don't even think I did much on this one. Yeah, I couldn't even get 8-star on this one. I think Ofnir is probably the most difficult of Erd's group, if not Besla. Besla I got 8-star, so I think Ofnir is probably the most difficult. That one's not fun at all. Anyway, on to Angerboda. I was able to get 8-star on this one, but not S1. And I even have a gold hev ring. That's how bad it is. All right, we have 4 on usage for EX1. You had Amelia for the S3. You do have regular Actinia though, so that's more Angerboda usage than I have. But apparently she falls off after EX1. Yeah, at this point it seems like your regular Actinia would be helping you here. It's kind of sad because I wouldn't really recommend picking up Vindicator Freya. She's only really come through for Angerboda here. The Wild Floor at Seraphel is a limited pickup. They won't bring that back around very often. And then Summer Loader is a seasonal one as well. Angerboda is really tough on usage. This one's punishing. Anyway, that's Ushering of Eternity for Erd. Next we'll cover all the gears, and finally will be PvP. Alright, Ice Crystal Scepter, that's a lot of copies. That's good. You'll use them all. The Great Flame outfit and the Mystical Apprentice Ensemble are both very good, strong new gears. Santa Hat is another good Acer amp one. I've been using those for the recent events. The present filled sacks are really good. You'll use those if you just want to generate skill gauge and not use a wrong element or something. 3 max venerable bestiaries, that's really good. You'll be using this gear and all the other gears of the same schema that have the amping and skill gauge and boosting. You'll be using those all over for Heroic Wanderer and the other newer EX groups. And you got a 5-star Moonlight Brush, that's crazy. You farm that pretty good. 3 max Lightning Glaives, really good. Cursed Noble Outfit, they'll come through at some point. I'm sure for Heroic Wanderer, hitting those other element organisms. Red Butterfly Wreath, a very strong item. Good that you have 2 of it. You'll use it everywhere. Nice getting the max Ice Blade of Change. The max Waterfall Sword, a really strong triple hit. 2 Immortality Libers here. The skill gauge is insane on this item. Use it for all water contents. Just skill gauge cycle faster. Glitter Rave is amazing. Having 2 max is really good. They will be used a lot. 1 max Injector. You'll use it everywhere. It'll be needed in every Wanderer fight, I'm sure. 5 max Dormant Justice, good. 3 Ars Magnus, that's really good. You have some light res shred ability there. 2 Thermo Headset. Alright, Mr. Pass, I see you. 4 max Muffins is good. The staff is one of the Solidarity gears. I haven't gotten it to drop yet. Nice job having 2 max. Good farming. 2 Staff of Fervors, nice. And 2 max Biting Rapiers. You've done your Nordicia, good job. 4 max Ascended Shears, that's a pretty good spot to be. The Thunder Spears are really good when you need people to hit Earth Organisms in the back row. 2 Golden Thunderbolt Fans, must be nice. Basically use that on Moonlight, Selene, and Celestia for everywhere you bring them. A max Latent Light Blade, nice. It's a really strong gear that ignores everything and hits 7 times, so it's pretty good. 2 buffs to self. Solid gear, you use it everywhere. 2 max Modified Dragon Knuckles, that's good, that's right where I'm at. Really strong gear. Another really good gear to hit Earth Organisms in the back row. A max Luminous Crescent, really good. Use that for your Light Shred strats with the other one. The Ars Magna. Max Phantom Rifle, I see you. GG. Holy moly, dude. 2 max Gale Guardian Reliance Twin Blades. I've got 1 at a 4-star. That's insane. These things are really good. If you need Moonlight Selene or your V2 Laufey to do some earth damage, throw those on. Not even sure what the gun does. Is that another collab gear? Probably really strong too. A max Snowburst Spear. Love it. That gear will always be relevant. Really strong. 2 max Indestructible Cloaks. That's a good start. Skill gauge generation if you're trying not to hit a wrong element. Wadatsumi Spirit. Nice. 4 of the Rainbow Hand Grenades. I don't even remember what that gear does. You got an Adventurer's Whip. That's good. That's one of the best knockdown gears available. An Autumnal Lotus Blade. Nice having that. It's another really strong knockdown gear as well. Sneaking Dragon. Good alter gear. Ignores barriers too, I believe. Look at this guy with a max Vortex Staff. Good farm. That's a good supply of Volcano Hats. That's good PvP filler. 7 max Halo Swords. Good job. That's a good point to be. Good on the EX the Aussie farm too. 4 the max Cloaks is good. Sunfire Savior is just a really strong gear. Good to have 2 max. You'll use it all the time. The Bloody Rose is another strong fire ignore barrier gear. Is that Raised Light Staff? Is that like Thunder Chain or something? I don't remember what that does. Max Shinji's Asuka's Blade, nice. Those are still relevant in PvP. 1 max Jade Longsword, good. Any other time that they happen to come into a banner, they're good to pick up more copies of. It's a really strong gear. 7 Chance Batons, I think you're good. 5 Abyss Rifle, another really good PvP filler. 7 Nemesis Rod, still relevant PvP filler, nice. 3 max Petricores, 2 max Easter Wands, they're still relevant. 1 Crystalline Staff, good. You've got a God's Eye Scepter, nice attack gear. 2 Yggdrasil Blades, they're still relevant. You'll use them for skill gauge generation. Now I see the Sacrificio devices. You got 2 at 4-star, that's alright. That's a really strong gear too. You'll definitely use it, even at a 4-star. Triple hit, ignore shield and barrier, so strong. 3 4-star Nature's Poetry Blade, that's good. That's good lift gear. Use all 3 of those in PvP. You held on to 2 4-stars of the summer gear each. That's fine. A 4-star Shattering Mirror. Look for more copies of that. Very strong still though. 2 more 4-star Injectors. That's fine to hold on to them there. Platinum Bayonet. Good 4-star. Hopefully you pick up another to 5-star. Hazy Memory Choker. Nice grabbing that one. Was that Star of Winter? Good job farming that one. Another 4-star Snowburst Spear. Spicy for PvP. The Mechanical Bronze Staff, eventually you'll want to start 5-starring these out. I know it's a lot of mana in the super mana, but just cycle one of the next world bosses that comes up where you don't need to craft a bunch of arties, just sell off the extra mats and that'll get you there pretty quick. Some other strong niche gears hidden in the rest of this, like the old aerial charges. You can still use that in PvP at a 4-star. 2 4-star Gigantic Bows. It's a really strong all enemy ignore barrier hit. You'll need it. The final gears are going to be all the dark gear. They had it sorted. 3 max Red Nose Garmdahl. That's a good thing. That's what I did too. That gear's all kinds of relevant now. All ally 2-turn quick is big. Damage portion doesn't even really matter. 2 max Dark Lavatanes. Nice farming on that circle group. You got a max Sacred Garb. That'll help with dark shreds. 2 bows, really strong. 3 Black Dragon Grief max. Hercules Edge max, really strong gear. Good equipment 1 in PvP. Dire Grimoire, you might find a use for that in PvP still. Pit Chain to 3. 4 max dimensional swords, good start. Keep pushing them when you can. 4 dimensional swords is good. Mechanical Bronze Staff probably need the most attention. It would be good to get like 2 or 3 more max copies of these because these are used just as often as the Halo swords. 2 max Seal Wings, that's good. CC openers. You got the Sangred Axe alter gear, a Hanabi fan, nice, and then 2 Asterism gears. That sword was the special limited Reneka one, right? I don't even know what that one does. And holy moly, the Star Staff is good. Really strong all ally and all enemy components here. Usage is for like Jubilant Sword, Moon Sword, Lif optional. Ruiz de Gisa could use it as well. You have your Diabolic Omens at 2 4-stars. That's a fine choice since it's an Ignore Barrier gear. You got a 4-star Cyber Spada here. Illusionary Rifle when you're not worried about attacking into a Lif who will resist your fear. That's a decent item for PvP. And now we're down to the accessories. 4 max Incorruptible Earrings is really good. That Airborne Amp on the opener will stack with other constants. The max Graceful Necklace is relevant for PvP. Nice job with the 5-star World Creation Ring. 2 max Feathered Crescents, that's an amazing gear. You'll use them pretty much everywhere. 4 max Chronos Earrings is very strong. This gear will help you out a lot. And you farmed the Loki CB really good too. That's a lot of 5 stars of that. I checked through and didn't see any Christmas earrings. Just know if they ever bring back this one, it's an amazing Acer amp that Acers can use. Look for other ways to amp your Acer damage for Acer Wanderer. Holy Knight earrings, kind of the same deal except for humans. It's a really good human amp that humans can use. A 5-star Ilias cape, good that you got 1 max there. Got all the new tree peony blossoms maxed out and the lucky dragon carvings, good, good, good. 2 lanterns, good. 5-star Puck onesie, good job. That's PvP right there. 2 max Echidna hair accessory, another really good grounded amp to self. Excelsior Heart, PvP. 2 Iris Illusion, really good. 2 Deific Scales, really strong CC on counterattack opener. Alchemy Ball Pendant, really strong. Alchemy Ball Pendant is a very strong Jotun amp and a very good CC openers. You've got 2 max Celestial Offerings, another really strong opener. Max Mantis Eye, great for PvP. 2 max Verdant Emerald Rings, those are really good. They're like Hydra rings for Magic Row. 1 max Crown Ring, maybe look to pick up 1 more if they ever have it out and then take it again. 1 max Gorgeous Ring, that's still a good charm immunity check when fighting in PvP. You got a max Asteroid here, that's really nice. That'll help with skill gauge and human amps. 4 Hex Nut, that's good. A max Proof of Star Honor, that's really good. Good all stats and CC opener. 2 max Coastal Rings, really nice to get that freeze resistance in PvE sometimes. A max Mysterious Star, really strong for Acer amp. That'll be one of your cover options. A max Crystal Meteor, you'll find some use for that somewhere. If you ever see them giving out Immortal Rings from red tickets or other events, be sure to grab some more of those. This is another really strong grounded amp to self. Having more copies is helpful for an account. A 5-star Faith Bracelet, you really did farm. This guy's a farmer over here, people. 16 max Gaias, nice. Plenty of Dragon Bands, 2 max Hydras. Conquest is looking solid. Keep up Coliseum every time to keep getting more of those. Good coverage on the racial amps here. You kept the Shade Immunity pumpkins too. 2 Subaru's Meteor. You can use both of those in PvP at a 4-star. The stop opener is really strong. You have a 4-star Savage Star, nice. 4-star Jovian, use that for Airborne amp, it's really strong. And a 4-star Destiny Star. I would say this is the most important gear from the star gear. Use this to shred anything on an opener whenever you need and give your team skill gauge. And that wraps it up for the gears. So let's go over some PvP breakdown. Alright, RareDamage. This is your arena team as is right now. I'm not sure who's in slot 1. It could be V2 Laufey, it could be Moonlight Celine. I'm not sure if she comes in front of Reneka install. But you got him on first slot there, so let's go over what I think could happen here. On Reneka, you've got the Excalibur Morgan in slot 2. I think this is an equipment slot 1 gear. I think this gear deserves to go in slot 1. It affects all allies and all enemies from its proc. It'll proc about 55% of the time because it's a skill level 4 gear, but this gear does so much for you. I think you want this gear in slot 1. If any of these erodes land on the enemy on the first turn, you have such a huge advantage. I don't think the Waterfall Sword is justified. More power. Exhaust Corrupt are mostly soft CCs, and Vortex is only 1 turn, so yeah, it's a Vortex to 4 enemies for 1 turn, but I think setting up with the all enemy erode is much stronger. If that's the case, then I think you can also not have to rely on Feathered Crescent to provide erode for you, since your Excalibur Morgan's going to be applying it to all enemy. There may be a better slot for this. I would replace the Feathered Crescent with something that provides a different hard CC other than erode, since you cover erode from Excalibur Morgan. I would also swap Star Sapphire, since that's more of a PvE item, and I think you need to switch with your Lif's Puck onesie. I think Reneka should hold the Puck onesie. Even though you have your Lif at a 3-star, she doesn't get as much benefit from all stats boosts like your Reneka would. Throwing 20% all stats to Reneka I think would help her out a lot. Otherwise, I think Reneka looks pretty decent. You've done a good job here. It's fine to fill out the emblem slot here with the magic, but do try to get another Sigli or high power so Reneka can have more attack here. And finally, I did want to note about expertise, because I feel like the new best way to build for PvP is 1000 attack and 500 res. I feel like the knockdown G power is more for the TOT floors. If you're fighting people in top 100A now, people are already going to have pretty good emblems that cover most of their knockdown needs, which means for the most part, people are going to be eating through your 1000 G power with the knockdown from their emblems. And to my knowledge, any additional knockdown that doesn't shred off points of G power is irrelevant and wasted. So don't bother specking onto the red stats, knockdown and G power. Whereas if you spec 1000 into attack, you deal 10% more damage. And if you put 500 into res, you take 5% less damage unless they build attack. See, with G power, you don't really get a bonus because most time they're going to cover all the knockdown they need to shred through that G power, but they might not have the attack if they're a PvP build, if they're the old knockdown G power build. But that's just up to you if you want to invest the 100 diamonds to reset and redo that kind of stuff, or just hopefully wait till Ateam releases a 3rd expertise page at some point here and we don't even have to worry about that anymore. Moving on to Dawn's Lightbury, I see here we have an Excelsior Harp on him. I think this is the item that should replace Reneka's Feathered Crescent here. That'd be a great 4th for her, so she would have Puck 1Z. These two say the same, and this would be the Excelsior Harp. I feel like that's a really strong loadout. We can supplement him with Morm attack, the more the better. Astral Charms is fine, Deific Scales is good. Instead of the Excelsior Harp here, consider your Solar System Globe. That will give him 3 front enemy, opener, Frostburn, and Exhaust. Frostburn is that hard CC. The extra HP and damage up to Jotuns will affect him and your front ally. That's a much better piece, I think. A final recommendation on Buri's accessory changes. I feel like the Feathered Crescent just isn't as strong as other options that you have because you're having it covered by Reneka's equipment. A much better accessory here, in my opinion, would be your Max Alchemy Ball Pendant. That would give you 3 front enemy, opener, shield seal, barrier seal, and corrupt. That's way more CC onto the enemy than in a road that you've already got covered. For the 4 equipments, they're good overall. I feel like the Platinum Bayonet and the Yamato Ice Parfait could be improved on. I would swap this in your equipment order down lower and then have the first item be the red butterfly wreath that hits flame chain to 3 enemies. This hits 2 enemies. You want your first equipment to affect the battlefield as much as possible, so put something in there that's going to hit 3, 4, or all 5 enemies with a hard CC. You also have your Hazy Memory Choker here, which I feel like is just as strong as one of these other 2 options. For the Seabreeze sort, I feel like her slot may be contestable with a couple other things, probably like Moonflower Sortitia. Even your Gold 3 Collector Melvern can do some spicy stuff. There's also the matter of fitting in a Moonlight Celine, which if that isn't your first one, I would probably get as many V2 saviors on this team as possible. I don't feel like Capricorn is strong enough to justify the slot, and it's definitely going to be Lif as the one ranger. If the Seabreeze sort has been working for you, that's great. If you need the power of the tried and true Moonflower sort, she may work better for you and partner better with Reneka, or Moonlight Celine also will boost Moon sort. And then a final 3rd spice option would be if you want to try your Collector Melvern. Okay, so as for the gears then, the only recommendation for accessories, I would recommend getting rid of the Feathered Crescent since Reneka covers it, and adding your Gorgeous Ring, so the charm opener check. Landing charm onto 3 really helps. You got a road covered. And unfortunately, with no Magic Theory and Jotun or Beast, we're not going to be able to bring that crown ring. Back to Reneka real quick, another really strong option that you could do instead of the Summer Jewel is that Max Celestial Offering. That's another really good option here to help her dark damage up at the beginning as well. And it's so much CC to 3 people twice. The rest of Swords accessories look fine. Ice Blade of Change and Nemesis Rod are okay. The thing with Moonlight Butterfly Staff is that Lif kind of nullifies it. If you're fighting Lif, you can't skill gauge down them, and Holy Train for 1 turn is not as strong as other things that you could bring. Petrichor is widely PvE. Corrupt is a soft CC, mostly ignored and immune to anyway. The skill gauge portion I don't think is justified to bring in PvP, so there's probably a better option here that you have. I would replace either Butterfly Staff or Petrichor with one of the Immortality Libers. 2 targets, skill gauge up, and Stone Chain to 3 enemy for 1 turn. That's stronger than both of those. And whichever one you didn't replace for Immortality Liber, I would replace the other one with your Star of Winter. That's a really solid gear. Flame Chain is a hard CC to 2, and it's got the skill gauge up to self anyway. The Ice Blade of Change is fine to run in the first slot, so Frostburn. This is like upgraded Corrupt, so this is a much better CC. to do on the first turn. Hopefully you'll eventually be able to transition her over to Niet high magic emblems, but for the meantime definitely just bring them for the knockdown stat stick. And finally your Lif. Your Lif look really solid. Adventurer's Whip in slot 1 is really good. That's a good choice for equipment 1. Rapture Sword is a fine choice. The Ice Blade of Change does have good CC on it, but a Latent Light Blade would probably suit Lif a lot better, I feel like, and still provide good CC. The Fire Gauntlets as well is also another good choice. Jade Longsword is a fine choice. You can keep that one. On the accessory side, this Puck onesie will be going to Reneka ideally. Proof of Honor Star is a great piece for her, but it means that Stack Bowls is kind of redundant. Yeah, you would miss 2 enemy too, but the Ava is not needed and you're getting it from the all stats from the Proof of Honor Star here. I feel like you could swap Stack Bowls for Ilya's Cape. The new 4th option for her could be your 4-star Alchemy Ball Pendant is actually another option for Lif here. That provides a lot more CC than the Stack Bowls does. Otherwise, everything else is looking pretty clean. You can sustain top 100 A rank, so that's pretty much where you would need to be in my book. That's pretty much all I worry about doing. Didn't go over what I would gear you Moonlight Celine. Let me find a melee elf and take a look. Alright, here's my spicy Moonlight Celine. Cries on the main account. Hercules Edge is a really good equipment slot 1. I would use that. Dark Lava Tane, be sure that's in there. I feel like this is a really strong CC heavy plus skill gauge opener for herself. She would be popping off on turn 1 with this, but that would definitely be my 5th for your team. Anyways, RareDamage. I hope that was helpful. Thanks to everybody for following along. Hope it was helpful to you too. It was a pleasure doing this for you. I hope this helps improve your account and you have some fun goals to look ahead when the next PvE stuff comes out. But until next time, everybody, Foots out. Cheers.